So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our public webinar on the Montgomery County Public Schools Interactive Boundary Explorer. This is the first kickoff meeting of Phase 2 of MCPS's School Boundary Analysis. My name is Steve Brigham from Public Engagement Associates. I'm part of the WXY Studio Consultant Team. Our firm was involved in facilitating the Phase 1 community meetings for this process this past winter. We have numerous hosts with us tonight, including Derek Turner from Montgomery County Public Schools and Adam Lubinsky, Kushan Dave, Abby Zahn, and Mario Giampieri from WXY Studio. I'm going to first ask Derek Turner, who is the Chief of Innovation, Engagement, and Operations with Montgomery County Schools, if he will give some opening remarks and then turn it over to the WXY team. Derek, welcome.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening to talk about the Interactive Boundary Explorer. As you know, this is an important investment by MCPS as we look at boundaries in our school system. As you know, we were delayed in our work and our progress due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but we're happy to restart this effort and engage our community again on this process. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but other than to say thank you for your interest and your engagement tonight and moving forward. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to engage with MCPS on this initiative. So I appreciate being here now and in the future. And now I'll turn it over to Adam Lubinsky. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Derek, and thank you to Montgomery County Public Schools. Very pleased to be here with you this evening. As many of you know, our team finished the Phase 1 process of the boundary analysis in early March. Obviously, many things have changed since then, but we did get a lot of useful feedback from the community that has shaped our approach and our analysis. We hope that you've had an opportunity to look at the interim report, which was issued back in March and is available online with MCPS on the Boundary Analysis website. We hope that you've had a chance to read through this and read the range of analyses that we conducted. And it sets the tone for our work as we kick off this fall. As you may remember, we looked at 4 critical lenses, considering school utilization, school diversity, school proximity, and assignment stability. As we move into Phase 2, we want to make sure that we continue to engage with the community around these key issues. We understand that we can't be with you in person, so our protocols for engagement have shifted, and obviously we're not going to be in the same room. So as a result, we've been working on an interactive boundary explorer tool. This can hopefully bridge the gap and allow people to participate from home and really maximize your input into this process. So what are we going to do today? Our objective is really to prepare you and equip you to navigate the Interactive Boundary Explorer tool that we developed and show you how you can conduct your own analysis. We'll use a set of demonstrations and follow it up with an exercise for all the participants so that you can get familiarized. We'll also show you how you can provide feedback using a survey function that we built into this. Parallel to this engagement process, we're going to continue to do more analysis around the interrelatedness of these 4 lenses as we discussed in Phase 1. At the end of this phase of work, which will be completed in December, we will prepare a report. This report will go to the MCPS board and it will be made public sometime in January or February 2021. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kushan to give you a bit more detail on what we're doing this evening. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Great. Thank you, Derek, Adam, and Steve for kicking us off. Again, good evening, everybody. My name is Kushan Dave. I'm a director of planning and a project manager for this effort, and I'm glad you could join us here today this evening. For the next few minutes, I would like to give you a brief recap of the purpose of the study, talk a little bit about sort of Phase 2 outcomes, and outline a few objectives for what we'll be doing today. So in terms of the purpose of the study, we want to provide a comprehensive assessment of school boundaries in light of county growth. We want to receive community feedback on challenges of creating diverse schools. We want to understand the related challenges of utilization, diversity, and proximity in school clusters. And we want to reinforce MPS core values of learning, respect, excellence, and equity. We will emphasize the fact that the purpose of this study is not to redraw school or cluster boundaries. For those who have part of this or have followed this process, you might already be familiar with the boundary analysis website, but we will be pushing that through the chat right now. For those who want to learn more, please go to montgomeryschoolsmd.org/boundary analysis. Next slide. Phase 2 outcomes. So what will this phase result in? Well, this phase will result in a community engagement summary, including findings from the Interactive Boundary Explorer, the IBE as we call it, and you'll be learning about that in just a short moment, and a final report to inform future boundary studies based on metrics tied to educational facilities planning policy indicators, including assignment stability, utilization, diversity, and proximity to schools. Like Adam mentioned, the final report will include findings from our phase 2 data analysis that's happening parallelly and a summary of engagement activities. Our team will submit the final report to the Board of Education for reference and consideration, and it will be released to the public shortly thereafter. So why are we here today? We want you to, one, get informed about the next phase of district-wide boundary analysis, the project, the process, the key lenses. We want you to learn about the Interactive Boundary Explorer and leave prepared to explore the data, the interactive tool on your own. And we want you to learn how you can add your voice to the second phase of this boundary analysis process using the survey and sort of the upcoming discussion forum. As a reminder, this webinar is not a discussion per se, but attendees are encouraged to attend the MCPS Interactive Explorer community feedback and discussion session, that is scheduled on October 28th. And with that, I turn it over to Steve to take us through the agenda of the day.
Thank you, Kushan. So as you can tell, we're in the midst of our welcome and kind of orienting all of you to what we're going to be doing this evening. In a few moments, we're actually going to ask a few polling questions, and then I'll turn it back over to the WXY team to give more context on both what's happened so far and what will be happening during phase 2, as well as a brief review of what the lenses from this boundaries process is. Then we'll spend the bulk of our time introducing you to the Interactive Boundary Explorer, which we're launching officially tonight. We'll go through 3 different demonstrations and explain to you how the tool works and the different things you can do, and actually show you live the use of the tool. And then we'll give you a short segment around 8 o'clock where we'll give you an exercise to do some of the things that you learned in the demonstration, just to see how the tool works, so you get comfortable with it for further use after this webinar is over. We'll then take questions for about 10 minutes near the end of the meeting. And we're mainly focused on questions that you might have about the tool, because we're really wanting to make sure that you're well set up to use the tool after this. And then we'll present some next steps, and we will close by 8:30. So let me just say a few things about Zoom. So at the bottom of your screen, I'm sure many of you have used Zoom far more than you may have wanted to over the last 7 months, and there are also people who may not use it at all or have only used it a little bit. But in the bottom of your screen, across going left to right, you'll see a Q&A tool, you'll see a chat tool, and you'll see an interpretation tool. And so you just click on those, type question, type chat, and if you need interpretation, you click on the interpretation button and you choose which language you need access to. We'll also be using polling, and so every time we're going to do polling, I will launch and we'll ask you to participate. Next slide. So as I said, so we're only going to be taking questions at the very end, and it will be directly related to the use of the tool, because we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident going off on your own using the tool and what it can do. The chat will be open throughout the program to share any technical questions or concerns you have, and those go to the panelists and can be responded to. I may not have mentioned this, but this session is being recorded currently, and we will put up a recording of this webinar and the one we do on Thursday up on the Boundary Analysis website. And in terms of Q&A, we just ask you to be respectful and civil in terms of how you phrase and submit your questions. So we're going to launch the poll right now. And so what you're going to see is there's going to be 3 questions for you to answer all at the same time. So, and then we'll look at the answers to all 3 after you've had a chance to actually look at them. So I'm launching it now. As you can see, there's 3 questions. One, no, this is the wrong one. So let me go back. I apologize for that. All right, so there's 4 questions actually. And so the first is just what your relationship to the school system is. The second is asking you where you live, or what kind of best represents where you live, if we haven't kind of captured your geography the way you would. What ways, if any, that you participated in phase 1, and also tell us your race or ethnicity. So take the time right now to answer the poll. I ask you to take all 4 polls at the same time. So after you're done with one, scroll down, take the second, scroll down, take the third, scroll down, take the fourth. And so I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to go through all 4, and I'm going to be monitoring the percentage of people. We've got about 145 people plus staff in this session. And so I can see on my screen how many people are voting, and right now we're at about 45%. So I encourage you to keep on placing your votes so that we have a good idea of your answers collectively to all of these questions. And so right now I'm at about 65%. Let me give you about 15 more seconds to answer these, and then we'll take a look at the results. But I'd really love it if we can get as close as we can to having everybody put their polling answers in. I'm now at 75% and going upward. About 10 more seconds, just in the interest of time. So if you're still voting, if I could ask you to quickly scroll, answer the questions, submit your answers. And I'm going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's see what we've got here. So by far, we've got 81% who are MCPS parents or guardians. And then we have about 6% students. So welcome. Actually, no, we've got 14% students across K-5, 6, 8, 9 to 12. And then we've got people who are future parents or past parents, grandparents. So welcome to everybody. Thank you for answering that question. Let's see how we're doing in terms of where people are located. So about half of you are in the southwest quadrant, and that's at 50%. And then we've got Central at 14%, South at 14%, North Central 8%, East 7%, and then others at 3% or less. Did you participate in phase 1? 41% of you attended at least one of the community meetings. We have about 30% who read the interim report. And 9% who participated in other ways, 7% watched the recorded meetings. and 13% of you who are kind of new to all of this. So again, welcome into this process for phase 2. And then finally, what best describes your race or ethnicity? 56% white. We've got 11% Asian Pacific Islander, 7% both for Hispanic and for Black African American. And then we've got 3% 2 or more races. And then we have 16% who'd rather not say. So again, appreciate you taking that. We got at least 80-some% of you in the mix here, so that's great. And let me close the polling. All right, so now we are going to move to Kushan, who is going to share project context, and then he's going to turn it over to Abby, who will share about the boundaries and the lenses. Kushan?
Great, thank you, Steve. So for the next few slides, we want to give you a quick recap of what was done in phase 1 and also reintroduce some of the key metrics of utilization, diversity, and proximity that you'll be hearing a lot about today. As a reminder, we strongly encourage you to read or even skim through the existing conditions report or the interim report before you start to use or explore the tool itself. So what is the district-wide boundary analysis? The District-wide boundary analysis, it's an initiative designed to provide a comprehensive assessment of MCPS school boundaries by analyzing facility utilization and capacity, student demographics, and proximity to schools. Public input is very important to help the BOE understand the challenges to creating more meaningfully integrated and culturally responsive schools in MCPS. Next slide. What have we done so far? Well, through the phase 1 engagement process, we engaged more than 2,000 community members at 6 area-wide public meetings. We conducted 12 targeted small group meetings with hard-to-reach groups, and we published an interim report summarizing insights from data analysis and community engagement, which has been made public through the MCPS Boundary Analysis website. Next slide. So where are we in the process? As we kick this off, we are in phase 2 of the process, which is about testing ideas and metrics. Through this process, we'll be conducting 2 public webinars. We'll have 1 community feedback session that is planned for the next week, that is October the 28th. We will continue to do targeted small group meetings throughout phase 2, similar to what we had done in phase 1. We will also conduct additional student engagement activities. And as of today, we'll be launching the interactive tool for public sort of consumption use and using that to provide additional survey and feedback. The phase 3 of the process will include the consultant team, that is us, preparing a final report and presenting our findings to the Board of Education, which will all be made public. Next slide. Phase 2 engagement. So through the phase 2 engagement process, we basically want to share, gather, and report, meaning we want to release and teach the Interactive Boundary Explorer to the broader community. We want to collect your inputs through decisions and discussions and survey, and we want to share the findings with the public and the Board of Education. Today's webinar marks the first event on the calendar. For those who much like me, have lost the track of time in this pandemic, today is October 28th. We are here, and the second webinar will be hosted on October 22nd, which is 2 days from now. This will be followed by a community discussion and feedback on October the 28th. We will continue to get inputs through the tool and the survey that is within the tool. And the input session will go on till early December, at which point we will divert our attention to preparing a written presentation for the book. With that, now I'd like to pass it on to Abby, who will take us through the Boundary 101 and a little bit of recap of what we learned earlier.
All right. Thank you, Kushan, and good evening, everyone. So from our polling results earlier, it looks like many of you on the call tonight did either attend a meeting during phase 1 or read some or part of the interim report. So those of you might be already somewhat familiar with the key lenses of this analysis. But on the webinar, we wanted to provide a brief overview of the key lenses with a focus particularly on the different data points that you'll come across when you use the Interactive Boundary Explorer. Don't worry, we'll send you links to resources where you can learn more about these lenses after tonight's meeting. since this will be a brief introduction. Next slide. So the district-wide boundary analysis is structured around these 4 lenses: utilization, diversity, proximity, and assignment stability. The lenses are drawn from policy FAA, which is a Board of Education policy that outlines 4 factors to be considered in long-range facilities planning and MCPS. As these factors guide the county's decision-making in facilities planning, they in turn also form the backbone of this boundary analysis. Assignment stability refers to how often the same students are impacted by school reassignment in MCPS. And since it's an outcome of boundary changes, you won't see data on student assignment stability in the interactive tool. In the analysis, we are considering a wide range of different data points within utilization, diversity, and proximity. And the ones you see on your screen on this slide are the ones you'll encounter in the Interactive Boundary Explorer. So in the following slides, I'll define each one of them briefly, and we can go ahead and go to the next slide. So the first lens is facility utilization. Utilization measures the capacity of school facilities, and it's calculated by comparing student enrollment to a school's total available seats, or utilization rate. Utilization is important for maintaining reasonable class sizes and accommodating growth in MCPS. Next slide. When we look at utilization in this analysis, we are focusing on one key measure of utilization, which is utilization rate. Utilization rate measures student enrollment compared to a school's total capacity. It's a percentage that we arrive at by dividing enrollment by program capacity, or the number of seats MCPS has determined that a school facility can accommodate. MCPS aims for schools to be utilized at 80 to 100% of their capacity. So as you can see in the graphic on the right-hand side of your screen, when a school's utilization rate falls under 80%, it is underutilized, and we would expect to see unused seats at those schools. When a school's utilization rate is over 100%, it is considered overutilized, and in other words, there are not enough seats for every student enrolled. We might expect to see portable or relocatable classrooms at overutilized schools. Next slide. The next key lens is diversity. Diversity refers to differences between students. In this analysis, it is measured by 3 factors: race and ethnicity, socioeconomic background, and English language proficiency. And the key measures include racial dissimilarity, FARMS, and ESOL rates. This lens is important because MCPS values diversity in schools and seeks for schools to reflect the diversity of the communities that they're in. Next slide. Diversity is complex, and there are many ways to define and to measure it in a school system. But for the purposes of this analysis, we are focusing on 3 primary markers of diversity that MCPS draws upon in their facilities planning. On the Interactive Boundary Explorer, you will find 3 sets of variables that correspond to these 3 forms of diversity: race and ethnicity, socioeconomic background, and English language proficiency. So first, ESOL and ever ESOL rates correspond to linguistic diversity. The ESOL rate is the rate of students at a school enrolled in ESOL, or English for speakers of other languages. And ever ESOL tells us how many students at a school have ever been enrolled in ESOL during their time in MCPS. ESOL and ever ESOL help us understand how many students at a school have a first language other than English. Next, the FARMS rate corresponds with socioeconomic diversity. It tells us the percentage of students at a school who are enrolled in FARMS, the free and reduced price meal system. FARMS eligibility is determined by family income. Ever FARMS is the rate of students at a school who have ever been enrolled in FARMS. And finally, racial dissimilarity is a way to understand racial and ethnic diversity in MCPS. So MCPS is a very diverse school system. As you can see in the demographics chart on the screen, no single racial or ethnic group represents a majority of students in MCPS. So to understand racial diversity in this analysis, we focus on the differences between adjacent or neighboring schools by looking at racial dissimilarity. Racial dissimilarity measures how like or unlike a school is from its 2 nearest schools in terms of racial demographics, and it's expressed as a number between 0 and 1. A higher score means the school is more dissimilar or unlike its neighbors. Next slide. And then the third lens is proximity. Proximity helps us understand how far students have to travel to get to school, as well as how many students have the option to walk to school. This lens is important because BOE policy encourages a commitment to community schools in MCPS with an emphasis on students attending schools close to their homes. On the next slide, there are 2 data points you'll encounter related to proximity. The first is average distance traveled to school. This is measured in miles traveled along the road network. Here, our interest is in distance for those students attending their assigned school or base school. So note, this does not include students who live outside of consortia and do not attend their base school. Next is the percentage of students living in the MCPS designated walk zone. Students who live in the walk zone are determined to have a safe and reasonable route to school on foot. MCPS aims for as many students as possible to live in the walk zone. And across MCPS, 38% of elementary students, 25% of middle school students, and 29% of high school students live in their school's walk zone. Next slide. So we know this was a brief overview of the key lenses. Just to note, there are several resources available online where you can learn more about these lenses and explore the data in this analysis. This includes the MCPS Boundary Analysis Project website, where you can find materials from the Phase 1 meetings and the interim report itself, which has much more knowledge where this came from, including all of the analysis from Phase 1. And then finally, the Interactive Boundary Explorer itself, which includes helpful insights and definitions, which you're about to hear more about. You'll be getting links to these resources in the chat later on in the webinar. So now moving on into the Interactive Boundary Explorer itself. So now that you've gotten some context about the district-wide boundary analysis and the lenses that are guiding it, let's dive in to learn more about the Interactive Boundary Explorer. What is the Interactive Boundary Explorer? This is an online platform developed to give the MCPS community an opportunity to interact with the data being analyzed as part of the district-wide boundary analysis and to add their voice to the process. The IBE is the central platform for the second phase of engagement. Next slide. So broadly speaking, what can you do with the IBE? You can get context, you can look at insights from the interim report and learn about key concepts related to school boundaries in MCPS. Next slide. You can explore data, follow guided exercises and help videos, or explore the data on your own to analyze utilization, diversity, and proximity. And next slide. Finally, you can add your voice. So after exploring the data, complete the survey to add your voice to the boundary analysis. This is the primary vehicle for feedback, for public feedback in phase 2 of this analysis. So in just a moment, I will hand it over to Steve and Mario to walk you through the IBE in a lot more detail. But first, let's take a quick tour of the interface, just so you know what you'll find when you load the site yourself. All right, so here's the landing page for the Interactive Boundary Explorer. The website, as you can see on the top menu here, is divided into 6 sections seen on the top of the screen. So before you start exploring, you have the option to select your language. You can translate the site into many different languages. And then going section by section, what will you find? So as I said, there's places to get context about this analysis. So you can receive background around the 3 lenses being used. You move to the key insight section of the website, you'll be able to toggle between different insights from phase 1 of the analysis, which are separated by lens. You can flip through and learn at a high level some of the interesting takeaways that have come out of this process so far. And then next, getting started. So before you get into the interactive data tool, you'll find a getting started section. And this includes 7 help videos that orient you to the interactive tool and provide demonstrations for various exercises that you can complete. And it also features guided exercises here, which you can use to have a more structured experience. So if you don't want to dive in all on your own, you can actually click through and you'll be prompted with questions and instructions for how to complete 3 different types of exercises on the tool. And then last, but certainly not least, or second to last, I should say, you'll find the interactive tool itself, and you'll hear a lot more about that in the next several minutes of this presentation. And then finally, you have the survey. So again, this is right in the IBE, right in the website, and we encourage that everyone that interacts with this tool takes part in the survey to make sure your voice is a part of the process. Now that we've gotten a quick rundown of what you'll find on the IBE, I will turn it back over to Steve and Mario to dive into our demonstrations.
Right. Thank you, Abby. And we're aware that there was, at least at certain points in time, if not continuously there for a few minutes, there was a competing voice with Abby, which may have been some kind of recording. So we have our team looking into that to try and resolve it so that it's no longer a distraction, but our apologies. So very quickly, so tonight you're going to, as I said before, we're going to see 3 demonstrations, starting with the basics and getting more complex. Don't worry if you don't catch it all the first time. There's going to be a recording of this webinar that will be available online after Thursday's session. There will also be cheat sheets that we're providing tonight and that will be up on the tool website that you can use to help you after this session is over. So the first demonstration is actually going to be called Learning About My School. And when we say your school, it can mean either the school that your kids attend, that you attend, or just a school that you're interested in the school system, depending on what your relationship is. Next slide. So there are 3 tools for learning about your school on the IBE, the Interactive Boundary Explorer. So the first is the search tool where you can locate your school by searching by name or searching by address or just finding it on the map. There's the click tool with the cursor where you can click on certain features to reveal information about your school. And then when you do that, you'll see a summary table pop up, which is a feature that allows you to read your school statistics and see how it compares to district averages. And so you'll hear Mario is actually going to show you how to do this in the first demonstration. In terms of what you can learn during this first demonstration, next slide. So it's designed to help you ask questions and then investigate them through the data. So questions you might have when you're doing this first exercise is, what are the key characteristics of my school as it relates to the analysis itself? And how does my school compare to district-wide averages? So as you watch this demonstration with Mario and the following ones, see if other questions come to mind for you so that you can explore those on the tool itself. And so with that, I'll turn that over to Mario from the WXY Studio team.
Great, thanks, Steve. I'm going to show my screen. All right, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so like Abby mentioned before, this website has a number of different sections that lead up to the Interactive Boundary Explorer itself. So I won't spend so much time on that, but just as a reminder, to get here, you can either scroll all the way to the bottom of the page or click this interactive tool button right here in the right column. And also, just as a reminder to folks, you can select the language that will translate the page here from this dropdown. So let's start off by thinking about what we're looking at here on the page. So here, the body of the page, most of it is a map of Montgomery County. And on the map, we start with a few different data layers. I'll note that these white lines here on the map are school attendance areas. And by default, the map loads elementary school attendance areas. But you can use this school level selector dropdown here to load middle or high school attendance areas instead. And the black lines on the map are the cluster boundaries. And as we know, clusters relate to the high schools that you are assigned to based on where you live. You can turn on and off the cluster boundaries using this button down here in the bottom left. And on the map, there are these larger black dots that correspond with the schools in the level that you have selected. So because I have middle school selected here, middle schools have labels attached with them and they're slightly larger than these other schools. But I can see if I hover over this school, Poolesville Elementary or Poolesville High School, they also appear on the map. Separately, as I mentioned before, there's a menu here that lets you choose the school level that you're interested in. And next to that, there are a number of buttons that show different data layers that correspond to different lenses that we're exploring in this analysis. And I'll get into those later. I just wanted to let you know where they are here. And finally, on the right-hand side of this interface, we have a number of different ways that we can inspect the data. So the default is the summary table, which has high-level statistics related to, in this case, the middle school average. But then there's also a histogram viewer, a filter, and a scatter plot, which we'll also discuss in more detail later. I'll also note that as you hover over things in the center right of the page, more information about that thing will appear. So keep in mind, if you have any questions about what certain things mean or what certain buttons do, you can hover over them and look to there. So now that we've kind of established what all the different buttons do on the map, we'll go into how you might actually go about finding your school. So for folks who are literate with reading web maps like this, it might be easier for you to go here and pick out your school on the map. But for other folks who know the name of their school or a school that they're interested in but don't know how to find it on a map, they could use this search by school button up here in the top. So for instance, if I were interested in Baker Middle School, I could start typing it, click enter, and then search. And at that point, the map would zoom in and the white attendance boundary would be replaced with this blue boundary. And then the summary table over here would populate so that information about Baker Middle School, as well as its cluster average and the MCPS Middle School average would also appear. Now, I think it's also important to note that while these statistics, these numbers appear in the table, we're also presented with this bar chart here, which shows the percent of students or different races who attend that school. So in this way, just by searching for our school, we're presented with a lot of information, its location on the map, some high-level statistics as it relates to the cluster and the middle school average, and then some demographics. So if I were interested, just to kind of show you how you might look for something else, you could click on Hallowell's Middle School, and then the information in the right-hand table would update. Same with clicking on Gaithersburg Middle. So in this way, you can kind of go through and investigate at a very high level some of the different elements of your school. And beyond learning about your school, this is a great way to look and see how your school compares with the cluster average. So in this case, I can see that the utilization rate at Gaithersburg Middle, which is 86.9%, is slightly below the cluster average of 93.2%, and also slightly below the middle school average of 96%. So at that point, I'm going to turn it back to Steve so that we can discuss the next demonstrations.
Great. Thank you, Mario. And, I should have said this earlier, but for best viewing, you want to make sure that your Zoom is fully expanded across your computer screen. That will allow you to see the detail of what Mario is actually doing during the demonstration. So thank you, Mario. So that helped you get your bearings just on the tool itself and learn how to look up information about your own school. In the second demonstration, Mario will show us how to compare the statistics of multiple schools. So in terms of the tools that he's going to be using in this second demonstration, so the first is the summary table. So as you started to see in the last demonstration, the summary table can be used to compare school to cluster or district averages. So then you will also have a tool, search by address, where you can determine or do an analysis of the 3 closest schools. So this allows you to look at adjacent and nearby schools. And you'll see in the demonstration we're about to have how to do that and how the ones that are closest to the school you choose pop up. And then we're also going to share with you the custom compare tool, which will allow you to compare the statistics of any group of schools through the custom compare feature. So the questions that you might ask yourself as you're using the tool at this point, both tonight and afterwards: how does my school compare to its cluster or consortium that it sits within? How does my school compare to its neighboring schools? How different or similar are the statistics for a given set of the 3 closest schools with regard to the lenses that we really care about, utilization, proximity, and student diversity? So let me do a quick poll here because we're going to ask you to actually help us choose which school we're going to choose. And so I'm launching a poll right now. So if when Mario is doing the second demonstration, tell us real quickly which of the 5 here that you'd be interested in seeing Mario use during this next demo. And I'm going to keep it open for about 15 more seconds. I've got about 100 answers in so far, and someone asked, yeah, so we're up to almost 160 participants at this point. So far, I'm seeing responses from about 75%. Let me hold it open for another 5 seconds. All right, I'm going to close the polling at about 80% of folks who are here. And we are going to, it was close, but we're going to choose Downtown Consortium, which had 36% of you choosing. Rockville was a second contender at 32%. But Mario, for this one, we're going to have you look at the Downtown Consortium. Thank you for taking that poll. And let me turn it back over to Mario.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, can everyone see my screen again? Yep, okay. So now that we're back here on the interface, I'll just say if you have a school selected and you want to start over and look at something else, you can use this clear selection button up here, and that will remove your selection from the map. And for this exercise, we decided, well, let's look at elementary schools. So I'll go back up here to this dropdown and select elementary schools. And then so as Steve mentioned, there's 2 different ways that you can go about investigating schools by their proximity or their geographic relationship. One of them is by searching by address. And if you were to do that, you could go to this dropdown up here where it says search by school, click this little side widget, and then switch it to search by address. And then at this point, when you enter in an address, it will use that address to locate the 3 nearest schools in the school level that you have selected. But because I don't know of an address offhand in Down County Consortium, I'm going to use the custom compare feature, which Steve also mentioned. So if we look over here in the summary table, you'll notice that the default, this darker blue button is says compare with cluster, and that will allow us, and then that's what we used earlier to click on one school and see how it relates to its cluster. But in this case, I'm going to select the custom compare button. And what this will allow me to do is select as many different schools as I want here on the map, regardless of whether or not they're in the same cluster or not. And then this will load their statistics over here in the right in the summary table. So now you'll notice I clicked on 3 schools, but 4 schools appeared here. That's because Strathmore, ES, and Belle Pre are paired schools. So when you click on an attendance area that has paired schools, both schools will show up here in the table, as well as up here, or down here rather, in this demographic bar chart. So in this way, I'm able to select 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 schools, or however many I would like, to be able to compare them here. But what's nice about this is I can also select across cluster boundaries here. So say I was interested in seeing how Glen Allen, Belle Pre, Strathmore, and Westover compared against each other here, despite Westover being in Northeast Consortium and the other 3 being in Down County. So I'm able to see here that at Glen Allen, for instance, the farms rate is 55.6%, at Belle Pre it's 62.3%, and at Westover it's 22.9%. So we have these schools here within the Down County Consortium that are significantly or somewhat higher than Westover, which is somewhat lower. And then, of course, we can see the average between them is, as we might expect, somewhere in the middle there. So in this is a good way for us to be able to move about the map and kind of get a sense of the relationship between nearby schools in terms of these statistics. And I'm going to turn it back over to Steve, but in the next demo, we're going to go into some other ways to view the information and interact.
Great, thank you, Mario. So as you just saw, We're able to compare the statistics of nearby schools, but many of you in the call tonight may be interested in exploring broader trends within the school system as opposed to only looking at statistics with regard to a school or several schools. And so this next demonstration will introduce you to a variety of ways to explore wider trends in the school system. There are many ways that you can do that using this tool. So the first is the choropleth tool, which allows you to observe trends on a choropleth map, a kind of map that is color-coded to show different ranges in the data so you can see the differentiation by color. Filter, which allows you to filter and therefore isolate particular ranges in the data. Mario will share that. Histogram, which allows you to see data as a histogram, which for those of you who may not remember high school math like me, a type of graph that allows you to see the distribution of data set across the district. And then finally, a scatter plot, for those who may have taken statistics. And finally, so the scatter plot allows you to analyze the relationships between two different variables or data points. So Mario will also be sharing that. In terms of questions that you can ask when you're looking at wider trends, again, both tonight, but more importantly, after this webinar. So which clusters or parts of the district have large disparities or differences between nearby schools, whether that's proximity or any of the other variables? What are the extremes in the data? Which schools are outliers, kind of beyond the normal range? And what are the relationships as we're looking at these trends between the three different lenses, proximity, utilization, and student diversity? So let me bring up one more poll and have you help Mario determine, so which level, when Mario is exploring trends, would you like to see explored in this next demonstration? Elementary, middle, or high? Great, you guys are answering even more quickly this time, which is great. I'm almost at 80%. I'll give you another 10 seconds to weigh in. All right, and so the winner by far is high school level at 71%. The other two fall far behind. So Mario, as I turn it over to you, we're going to be looking at high schools as we look at larger trends.
Great, thank you, Steve. Okay. All right. So now that we're back and we've determined that we want to look at high schools, first I'm going to zoom back out so that we can see county as a whole. Then I'm going to go back up here to this selector and choose high schools from the drop-down menu. And at this point, we'll see that the high school attendance area is lowered. As many of you are probably familiar, in most cases, the high school attendance area is the same as the cluster boundary, with the exception of the consortia down here. Okay, so like Steve mentioned, there's a few different options for us to view data beyond just looking at a map. To illustrate this, I'm going to load the utilization rate for high schools. And some of you might remember this color scheme from our phase 1 engagement, but essentially these different colors represent different utilization ranges. So this blue color here represents schools that are within the target utilization range of 80 to 100%. This lighter red here represents schools that fall within the 100 to 120% utilization range. And the darkest red represents schools that are above 120% utilized. And there's a little legend here that pops up at the bottom of the map when you select a layer that calls those different ranges out. So I'm going to move over here. Next to the summary table, there's a button that says histogram. And when I click that, I can see that a histogram loads that corresponds with the data on a map. So while we're able to kind of identify some patterns and pick out some trends, especially at the high school level where there are fewer schools, the histogram really allows us to see and to count how many schools there are in each range. So while I can see this darkest red splotch here, if I go here to hover, I can see that there are 2 schools that are above 120% utilized. And I can also move across here and see, in this case, the graph is broken down by 5%. So here I can see that there's 5 schools that fall between 110 and 115%. So this is one way that we can kind of check and kind of understand differently the data that we see on the map here in the histogram. And I'll just note, if I were to change the metric that I were looking at here, the histogram would update so that no matter what, you're always looking at corresponding data on the map and in the chart. And the same thing holds true when you change the school levels. If I were to go to middle school or elementary school, the chart would also update here. Moving across to the other ways that we can identify and look at spatial relationships, the next tab over is the filter tab. And this will allow you to select data based on certain ranges for different variables. So I'm going to go back to the summary table quickly, and I'll see that in this case, I have farms loaded, percent of students eligible for farms, and the high school average is 27.4%. So I'm just going to use that as an example, as a jumping off point here for our filter. So if I were interested in only seeing schools where that criteria were true, I would go to this dropdown that says filter layer by attribute, select percent farms, and then you'll notice that there are these two little handles on either side of this that allow me to click and drag to, let's say, around 27%, like we said. And this will load only the schools that meet that criteria. So now we're looking at only schools, only high schools that have above average, roughly, the number of students who are eligible for farms. So this is one way that we can start to, really be clear about the patterns that we see. And now if I were interested in also adding another layer, let's say utilization rate, I could now compare the number of schools who have an above average eligibility for farms and that are also within the target utilization range, just as an example. So I could drag these sliders on either side here and see that by and large, most of the schools that are above average in terms of farms eligibility are also within the target utilization range. And at any point, I can reset the filter or remove the filters to be able to go back and investigate the data. To load the map as it was before. And the final way that we can use these different tools to investigate the data is by using the scatter plot, like Steve mentioned. And by default, the scatter plot is loaded with utilization rate here on the x-axis and percent farms eligibility rate here on the y-axis. I'll also just note that every point here on the scatter plot represents a different school for the level that you have loaded. So in this case, there are 25 dots here that represent each of the high schools. And now I can use the scatter plot to investigate in two really key ways. The first way is by finding interesting points on the chart itself. So for instance, if I were interested in looking at the most overutilized schools, I could go here and click on the school to the very right. And I see that when I click on that, I know that it's Clarksburg High School. And then the point also, clicking on the point highlights that on the map as well. And if I were interested in seeing what the second most highly utilized school is, I could click on the next rightmost point and see that Quince Orchard High School is the next most utilized school. And you notice now that these two schools touch. So this is kind of an introductory way to look at the scatter plot. I'll also note that you can change the variables that represent each axis here by using the drop-downs here to change the X and Y axes. And as you do that, you'll notice that the location of the data points changes. So this way I can see, while these two schools were outliers, or the furthest to the right in terms of those other two variables, when looking at these two variables, we're actually kind of in the middle of the pack. Something else that I'll note is that if we have the scatter plot open, we already discussed how you might use the points in the graph itself to identify patterns. But the other way that you can use this is by clicking on the map and then seeing where that school is on the graph. So if I click on Damascus here, I can see that it falls in the lower left-hand corner of the graph. And if I click on its neighbor Clarksburg, I can see where that point lands as well. So in this way, we can use the map to identify points on the scatter plot, and we can also use the scatter plot to identify attendance areas on the map. And we think that between the scatter plot, the filters, the histogram, and the various different map levels, there's a lot of information here and ways that we hope that you'll engage with the data and then bring back some questions and discussion topics for us when we meet again. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Steve.
Great. Thank you again, Mario, for doing that. It's kind of like drinking from the fire hose, especially on that last one, so appreciate it. We're not expecting you to be as good as Mario with this tool tonight. We just want to make sure that you get a chance to see kind of everything that this tool can do. So in a moment, we're actually going to in fact, we'll put the link in the chat that takes you to the tool, as well as a link in the chat that takes you to a cheat sheet, which you can ultimately download. And you may want to reference that, especially in pages 12 to 14 is following what we're going to be doing tonight. So let me quickly explain the exercise. Also, as you're using the tool, be thinking about questions you have regarding the tool, and be ready to put those in the Q&A box so that when we get to the Q&A segment of the program, we can answer questions that you have about the tool. So with regard to the exercise, this is going to be a very short exercise. We'll probably have somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes for it. It's not to have you be able to do everything that Mario just did, but it's to give you an exercise for you to do that allows you to practice with some of the different tools and just get you ready to use it much more extensively in the days and weeks to come, as this tool will be available on the site for the next 5 or so weeks. So what can you learn? We want you to take a look at the utilization rate of your school. So there are a number of lenses that you can look at, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're talking about the utilization rate. How does this compare to my school compared to district-wide average, and how does it compare to 2 neighboring schools? So the tools you'll use as you access the link is the search tool, the summary table tool, and the custom compare tool. And so next slide. What would be helpful, I think, whether you're checking on the school that your kids go to or that you go to or nearby school, form a hypothesis in your mind. Do you think it's underutilized, overutilized, or within kind of the norm or the ideal range, 80 to 100%? And then use the search tool to actually find the school that you're looking for or select it on the map. Look at the summary table to see what your school statistics are, and then use the custom compare tool that allows you to take a look at how your school that you've chosen compares with 2 nearby schools and compare the statistics and the averages across yours and the other 2 schools that come up. If you have if you do that really quickly, you can continue to explore the tool while everyone else is. Kim, if you could bring up the next slide. So we're going to keep this slide up while you're using the tool. If you need to refer back to it, this is kind of the 1-page cheat sheet on what we're asking you to do and some basic instructions of kind of what to do and where to find stuff. You can also consult the longer tool that was in the chat link. And so starting now, I'm going to give you about 9 minutes to just try and answer those questions, find your school, look at the stats, compare, and just get familiar with what you're going to be able to do in this tool after you've had a chance to do the initial exercise. Again, if you have problems, refer back to the screen that's here if you need to. But what will happen when you click on the link is it's going to take you to a web tab, and that's where you're going to be using the Interactive Boundary Explorer. As will the cheat sheet take you to a separate tab so you can kind of toggle back and forth between the 2. So I'm going to start the clock now. Have fun with the tool, see what you can learn, see if your hypothesis is right, compare it with other schools nearby, and then come back and we're going to move into some polling and then some Q&A where the WXY team can respond to some of the questions that you've put in the Q&A box. And if need be as well, Derek. So looking forward to kind of what you learn, what your experience is as you get ready to use this tool more extensively in the days and weeks to come. And if you're having any challenges, feel free to drop something in the chat, and we can see if we can help you. Folks, we're going to give you about 4 more minutes to play with the tool. We know some of you may have finished and are doing other things with the tool. Some of you may still be kind of working through the exercise, but we'll give you 4 minutes. And again, just a reminder that lots of helpful videos and other resources on the tool website that will be available to you after tonight. So if you don't get it all, that's fine. There are more resources on the site that you may not have a chance to take a look at tonight. All right, about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to ask a few polling questions, and then we'll move into the Q&A segment of the program. All right, 1 more minute. All right, so I'm going to ask everybody to come back and come back to the Zoom screen. So again, I'm aware that not everybody may have been able to get through the exercise. That's fine. So that gave you an introduction to the tool, allowed you to do an exercise, perhaps play around a little bit, and allow you to be more comfortable when you use the tool after this meeting. So I'm going to take a quick poll, and then I'm going to move to Q&A. And just so you know, we've got dozens of questions, and there's not any way we'll get to all of them, but we'll answer as many as we can in the time remaining. All right. So sorry about that. All right, so just three quick questions. Just wanting to know whether you actually use the tool. Some of you may not have wanted to or may not have been able to. So that would be helpful for us to know that. There's a question about utilization that we'd like you to answer, and then a question about the tool itself. So I'm going to give you some time to answer these. And since there's 3 questions you're answering, I'm going to give you a little more time than we did in the last couple of polls. I'm at about 50%. And so your input's really critical. So I'm going to hold off a little bit before closing. I'm now at 60%. So hopefully folks are taking each of the 3 polls. Again, this is going to help us understand a little bit about your experience, a little bit about your insights, and a little bit about the tool. So let me give you about 10 more seconds. I'm at 70% now of the 130 or so people who are still on the call. And I'm going to wrap it up. All right, so 71% of you were able to complete the exercise. Glad to hear that. Another 20% opened it, but were not able to complete the exercise. So hopefully you were able to kind of get the basics so you're able to do stuff with the tool after this meeting. And we had about 9% that were unable to open the tool. So sorry to hear that. Don't know if that was technical difficulties or just didn't have the ability in the moment on Zoom. Second question, we asked about utilization. So in terms of the schools that you looked at, 44% thought it was well balanced in the discovery that you did. About a third of you thought that it was not well balanced. 14% couldn't tell, and then 10% didn't use the tool. And then on the final question, looks like if I combine agree and strongly agree, 74% thought that you're prepared to use the IBE, but another 6% either strongly disagree or disagree, and then 20% kind of either or. So it sounds like many of you were able to use it and feel like that you're prepared. Some of you may not be, and hopefully when you use the tool again after this meeting, you'll take full advantage of the tools that are there for you and the resources that are there for you to use the tool effectively. And there are ways of also giving feedback and asking questions on the tool site as well. So let's move to Q&A. And so if I can ask Adam and Mario and Derek and Kushan and Abby to come back on screen. And so we've had a number of questions about the data itself. So one of them was, which year's data is being used in this tool, and what is the source data being used? So, Kushan, I don't know if that's a question for you to answer.
Yeah, I can take that on. And thank you again for that question. We were trying simultaneously to type as many answers in the background as we could. So appreciate your patience. Again, apologies we can't get to all the questions, but we'll try to maximize our time. So to that particular question, the data is from 2019-2020 school year. And sorry, Steve, what was the follow-up question to that?
So it was, hold on, it just moved on me. Oh, the source data?
The source data is MCPS data set. They have fairly robust student level data sets that we have used. And Derek can probably speak a little bit to that extent, but it is an MCPS data set for the purpose of this analysis.
Derek, do you want to add to that?
Sure, I'll just add, I believe it's student enrollment data and the CIP, which is also our facilities data. So those two are the baseline for this tool.
Right.
Okay, great. And so there's also a question around how often is the data updated, and are the data are future projections of data being used for this? And it sounds like, I mean, you've already answered it's on current data, and then how often it is updated?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question, and that's something that we are working with MCPS on the back end as well. We ideally don't want this to be sort of a static thing that you can just look at it today and then forget about it in the next school year. We want to create a foundation that can be updated continuously. So while the data set is of 2019, 2020, on the back end, we have created we have structured the data sets in a way that it can be easily swapped by MCPS should they want to sort of assess the next year's school data.
Great. So then there's a question about, is the tool mobile friendly? There may have been folks on the phone tonight trying to access the tool. So what is the ability for people to use a phone to use the tool?
I can take it on, and Mario, feel free to jump in. Unfortunately, the tool isn't mobile friendly to the full degree yet, partly because there are a lot of sort of moving pieces, as you can imagine, especially the survey part, the videos and things like that. But I think that's something that we can kind of look into and see on our end how quickly and easily that can be done for the community.
I think I would just add to that the survey function actually is available on the mobile. It's just some of the tools in the map interface are not. So you'll still be able to go read more about the project, take the survey, but the map would only work, I think, on a tablet or larger at this point.
Great. So then there is a question about, let's see here. There's a question about why would we want to compare schools? How does comparing schools convert into expressing our respective voices? So what's the purpose of folks using the tool of kind of comparing a single school with others, either nearby schools or in a cluster or even outside of a cluster? I'm not sure who's the best to answer that. Kishan?
I can. Sorry, I was on mute. I can take it on, and others can kind of chime in. And this has really been sort of something that we have learned through the process, that whenever we want to understand relativity in a way, like it's hard to compare one school to another in many ways. But sort of the closest school analysis, something that you might have read through our interim report, helps to put certain things in perspective. So we, sometimes, as Mario was talking about the third demonstration, you can start to see perhaps certain clustering of certain sort of characteristics of schools in certain areas. So I think those are the kind of issues that come to light when we start to compare adjacent schools to that one particular school.
Right. So there's a question here about the racial dissimilarity metric and what the lower or higher percentages mean if a school is diverse.
Yeah, I can take it on. So racial dissimilarity, much like what we described in the phase 1 interim report, is about sort of how dissimilar your school is when compared to either sort of your cluster schools within the cluster or within sort of the county as a whole. And what it really helps us is to put some perspective, which kind of goes back to our earlier discussion about relativeness and relativity in some way. What happens when we start to look at a school which has, let's say, higher racial dissimilarity versus a school which is right next to it, which has a lower racial dissimilarity? So the dissimilarity index kind of helps us get to that understanding. And in terms of sort of how should you look at that number, the higher the percentage, sort of the more dissimilar the school is when compared to the cluster average, a cluster being sort of schools within the same cluster, if that makes sense.
Right. So the next question is about farms, and it's wondering whether in the tool is farms the percent farms or the percent ever farms. And again, for people who may not be familiar, farms is free and reduced meals for students.
Yeah, and that's a great question. When we kicked this study off, we were looking at sort of a range of metrics, and what we heard through sort of various community forums and feedback that we got was that ever farms and farms are probably sort of equally important in many ways. And I think in this tool, we have kind of included both metrics as a way for us to understand what is that sort of difference. But from a purely definitional perspective, ever farms are students that have ever, in their sort of history, have ever been on free and reduced meals program. So that is kind of a broader data set, if you might want to look at it that way. And then farms is sort of the people who are currently on free and reduced meals. So that is sort of that is the fundamental difference between the two data sets. And sorry, go ahead.
And they're able to see both using the tool?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Next question is, the assigned school my child attends is not one of the 3 closest schools to our home. How do we compare in that kind of situation? I don't know if that's a Mario question or an Abby question. Don't want to have Kushan answering all the questions.
Mario, can I toss that to you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that that's a really interesting observation. And I think that, the way that sort of distance is calculated is based on the address you put in, then searches all of the schools in the district along the road networks, finds the ones that are closest and returns the 3 that are the closest. So it could be that your school is just ever so slightly further away than that 3rd closest school, or there might be a meaningful difference in the distance. I think what I would hope when I look at that is to kind of try to understand why that might be, why my assigned school is further away than these other 3 schools. So I think, it might be a jumping off point more than like an answer per se.
Great. So I'm getting a number of questions about still the dissimilarity. So let me combine a couple here. Is the goal for your school to be more racially dissimilar than nearby schools, or less racially dissimilar compared to those schools? And then I'll ask the follow-up on dissimilarity as well.
I would say that there are no sort of goals or benchmarks to look at. I think it's a way for us to understand where the schools are when compared to the surrounding schools and the county as general. So I don't think that there is a benchmark per se that the study is trying to establish in some form or fashion. I think it's just for us to understand what is the current state of the school when compared to, again, the cluster average and sort of the county as a whole.
Great. So Derek, this is a question for you, and this I'm aware that there's definitely not a final answer to this, but obviously people are curious about it. It says, how will the school system use this tool to actually, ultimately look at changing boundaries?
So again, this is a great data tool to understand what our county looks like, what are the areas where there's high utilization and racial dissimilarity and or proximity to school, to really have a more tangible way to look at these things across the system. Again, this isn't any recommendations coming out of this. It's really just a way for our community and our board and our staff to better understand in a visual data way how our county looks.
And then, so we're getting close to, we'll probably only be able to take another 2 or 3 questions. There are several questions about the pandemic, so obviously even the student enrollment has changed since, last spring. How do we make sure that's taken into account when using this tool going forward, or even using this tool now, because these stats are pre-pandemic stats. And so just in general, kind of how to factor some of these pandemic variables in as people are kind of using this tool, and just in general thinking about what needs to happen with regard to boundaries. And again, I don't think there's kind of an easy answer to any of that, but obviously we've all gone through kind of 7 months of pandemic, and the world's changed. So there's probably a Derek answer to that and a WXY answer to that, just in terms of giving some perspective.
So I'll step in first. And I do know that one of the things we're thinking about is that, what does all this data mean relative to a world where we anticipate some portion of students moving forward are going to choose to live in a virtual only model, maybe for a year, maybe for many years, because it's where they found that they're thriving. That's going to have to be thought of as we move forward in all of this work. This is a new world for us, and we've never had to calculate for what a virtual enrollment would look like separate from. So again, we are looking at that, and I know there are people out there who are who are really thinking about this deeply.
Great. WXY, anything to add to that? Just in terms of the use of the tool or how people think about using the tool given kind of the pandemic as background or foreground?
I mean, I think when we started actually thinking about the tool, the pandemic hadn't happened in a way. But when it did, we actually started to realize some of the potential benefits of the process, because then, we started to kind of, in a way, kind of pad up the survey, add sort of more functionality, because we realized that in sort of this new protocols that we have with engaging with other sort of folks, it's hard for us to kind of, engage in a normal way. And tool really allows us to have those multiple touch points. So I don't think it quite gets to the answer that you were looking for or at, Steve, but I think the tool really will be sort of a central piece as we kind of make progress in our phase 2 work.
Great. Last question. I think it's one I saw a couple times. And it's basically saying, can this tool help me or help us answer what-if questions about a kind of potential things we might do in the future with regard to boundaries? And in general, just kind of as people are independently using the tool and they really want to think about, overutilized here, underutilized here. How do they think about using the tool as they're trying to answer questions for themselves about what might be done with regard to boundaries?
So currently the tool isn't set up for us to be able to change boundaries and see those potential impacts, likely because, as you can imagine, there are sort of tons and tons of sort of decisions that need to be made before even kind of thinking about boundary change in a way. And the tool is not only set up for that, it's not intended for that purpose. The intention here is to kind of make sure that the depth and breadth of information that somebody needs to know about school system before even they can sort of make a decision of actively changing a boundary or not, like that sort of information, that's something that we want to make sure that's out there to the public using this tool. And we want to make sure that people learn to sort of, grapple with that complexity of information, of data points, various sort of metrics that can then help them actively engage with any future boundary studies or potential revisions that may happen in the future.
Great. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for asking great questions. And I also want to thank Kushan, Derek, and Mario for giving insightful answers. So Kim, if you could bring up the next slide for next steps, because we're about to wrap things up here. So obviously you've just gotten kind of your appetite whetted around the use of this tool. There's a lot you can do with it. Mario gave you, some ways you can explore it, and obviously you can spend as much time as you want in the days and weeks to come to kind of really analyze what's going on and both where you live and across the entire county. So we encourage you to use and explore the IBE, the Interactive Boundary Explorer, particularly around 3 questions that I'm going to have on the next slide. We want everyone on this call and everyone that you might share this with to take the survey after they've had a chance to explore the tool, because really, in some ways, the survey is where we're going to get the most data, perspective, insight, and opinions on kind of what's going on with regard to boundaries in the county as you look at these things from across the lenses and using all the various tools that the IBE has. And then we want you to register if you want to come back next week for our meeting on the 28th. And to let your neighbors know about a webinar that will be exactly like this Thursday. So folks weren't able to make tonight. We're going to be doing the exact same thing, same bat channel, same bat time, 7 o'clock Thursday night. Next slide. So if you want to register for next week's meeting, we're really going to be asking you to kind of use this tool between now and next Wednesday night, and try to the best of your ability to answer these 3 questions, starting from kind of the easiest to the more complex. So we're wanting you to kind of explore the tool, especially with regard to the school or schools that you're most interested in, and finding out, well, what are the insights that you had? We're wanting you to kind of think about the three lenses: utilization, diversity, proximity, and kind of where it's balanced and where it may not be balanced with regard to your school or the schools that you're exploring and those that are nearby or adjacent. And then for the more complex, if you really want to kind of play around with the tool and kind of put your countywide hat on, do you find, as you're kind of exploring the whole county, are there clusters or are there geographies in the county where you see particularly difficult or important challenges that we face with regard to school boundaries around a specific set of schools? And if so, where is that in the county and what are the challenges? And so what we're going to do next week is we're going to, as many people as want to participate to a certain degree, we're going to actually use the breakout function of Zoom. We've recruited a couple dozen facilitators and still recruiting, so we can move into smaller breakout rooms and you can have more intimate conversations where we're going to be answering each of the three questions that you see here. So really, if you want to participate again next Wednesday, we really want you to do so having explored what is your answer to these three questions so that you're fully ready to share that with your neighbors. And obviously, if you can't make it or you're not interested in making it, you still may want to answer these tools just in your independent use of the IBE and provide your answers in the survey that's in the tool. And then finally, just a reminder of kind of what's there. So on the IBE, the Interactive Boundary Explorer, there's help videos. So please feel free to use them as much as needed to kind of explore all the different bells and whistles on the IBE. There are guided exercises if you kind of want to be walked through how to do certain things in order to accomplish or develop your own insights. There's the cheat sheet on the IBE that we provided in the chat tonight. That's available on the IBE website, and you're free to download that onto your own computer. And after Thursday night, we will put up the webinar recording. So if you want to go back and listen to parts of it, you can. Or if you want to share that with your neighbors who weren't able to make tonight or Thursday night, they can go back and kind of get the full presentation from tonight. So we'll end there. I know we're a couple minutes over. On behalf of Montgomery County Public Schools, on behalf of the WXY Design Studio team, I want to thank you for sticking with us all night. Thank you for giving us your input and your feedback. Thank you for learning this tool. And we strongly encourage that you go out, use the tool, use it as much as you can to learn as much as you can, and give us feedback. Take the survey, let us know what your insights are, give us feedback. It's going to be instrumental for the final report that we'll submit to the school system at the end of the year. So again, have a great night. Let other people know about the tool, and we look forward to hundreds, if not thousands, of folks using this in the weeks to come. Have a good night.